Hello there and welcome to Parker's Expert Insights Tech Talk. My name is Mark Jeffries. The pace of innovation and capability changes so quickly in the world of mobile electrification that it can be challenging to keep up with the reality of this rapidly evolving industry. So, today, we have a unique opportunity to delve deep into the topic and explore the truth behind the myths and, of course, the misconceptions. We have lined up a thought-provoking interview with two industry experts. From Parker, we have Application Engineering Manager Erik Forsberg, and from Volvo Construction Equipment, we have the Electromobility Solutions Sales Manager Fredrik Schönström, who will share their insights and experiences across this exciting industry and also look at the electrification partnership between Parker and Volvo CE. I'm delighted to welcome both of you. Before we get to the questions, let me ask each of you a little bit more about what you do. Erik, welcome. I'll start with you.
Thank you. So my name is Erik Forsberg. I lead the engineering team here at Parker, who supports all our large mobile accounts here in Europe. I've been involved in electrification projects for over 15 years now.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Fredrik.
Yes, hello, Fredrik Schönström. So I'm with Volvo CE, and I work within the Region Europe sales organization. You could say basically I'm supporting retail partners and customers, strategic account customers through Northern Europe with the decarbonization. I also have a 10-plus year background within R&D, mainly within this electromobility projects.
All right, well, it's a pleasure to have both of you. You obviously are immersed in this industry. And of course, both of your companies recently worked together on a quite pioneering partnership, converting a 20-ton diesel wheel loader into an all-electric one. I believe its name is the L120H. Can you explain what the collaboration was and what it achieved? Erik, maybe you can start.
Yeah, so basically we took a Volvo L120 diesel-powered machine, and we created this electrification kit. So basically all the components you need to replace the diesel engine and have it fully electric powered. So all the components like electric motors, inverters, batteries, all the components you really need to do that conversion.
And not to forget the software, which is a big part of it.
A lot of work was also put into the control system around it to control the system. And we have, like the ICANN system that we apply to this to be able to put together this system in a very short time.
It was a big job. Fredrik, how challenging was it?
No, it should be honest, it was a challenge, of course. It's a fairly new way, or maybe not so new technology for us, but the way of working together and also in this short time frame, that was a challenge for sure.
And why was this collaboration, this teaming up, so important to the project's success?
I think we cannot... Volvo is a big company, right, as Parker. And of course, we have ambitious roadmaps for our products, etc. But we want to do as much as we can, as fast as we can, and we cannot do everything in parallel. So we need to work together in different types of partnerships to really drive this transformation as fast as possible.
I think it was critical in this case to be able to meet the market requirement to get these electrified machines out in the market. We had to really partner up and do what we are best at. So what we are best at from Parker's point of view and also from Volvo's point of view. I think the way we worked in this project was to focus on our key expert areas. So Parker was dealing with the electrification kit and designing that kit. We also did the software, as we mentioned before. And Volvo handled more of the making sure that the machine meets all the performance requirements, the high performance requirements that Volvo sets, and make sure that this kit actually connects in the best possible way into this system. So we did what we're actually best at and focus on that.
That's very interesting, and actually it's quite enviable. You know, a lot of large companies would love to be able to team up and create success in the way that you two have. Let me ask you briefly on this collaboration. Were there any lessons learned? Anything maybe you'd have done differently or you'd have done more of? So lessons learned from the collaboration. Frederick, anything from your perspective?
Yeah, I would like to start with the positive things then. And I think it was a very... once we decided, it went very quick because we could build on the strong relationship, and we're used as organizations to work together for decades. So we have a lot of trust in already from the start, so to say. So we didn't have to spend months or even years on legal aspects or discussing who should do what, or these kind of. We don't have to, get to know each other and build this trust. We could start with a high level of trust, experience, and full speed already from start, so to say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think I would like to echo that the fact that we have a very good trust in this project, and we would be able to work together and really reach for a common goal. And really focus on what we're best at was really good. And I think what we would do even more in the future is to maintain this kind of way of working where we can actually, everybody works in the same team like we are the same company really, to really get to this common goal that we have.
Mm. There's a third partner that is not here today, and that is CES in Malmö, which is a special applications company that did the actual rebuild and the CE certification, and so it's a Volvo-owned company, so it's Volvo CE as well. But the three of us really had this good, strong cooperation. And one other really positive thing is, even if we are large companies with a lot of we have a lot of means behind us, so to say, and we can do a lot of stuff. But we, at the same time, scale down and have this core team that could take quick decisions, because product development is a lot about trade-offs. You can never have it all, so you have to do this trade-off decision constantly, I would say. And especially if you go into this kind of projects where I have a lot of what we call unknown unknowns. You don't really know. You cannot plan everything because you don't know what challenges you will encounter during the way. To have this small core team that really could take these quick decisions, that also was a success factor in my mind, Leslie.
Absolutely. All right. The art of compromise. I love it. All right, let's move the conversation on now, because as everyone knows, there's a real push for decarbonization of heavy plant and organizations looking to comply with city bans on internal combustion engines. So, Erik, let me ask you, what challenges do you think now face the construction industry looking to electrify?
Yeah, I think it's a very new technology. I mean, still, there's a lot of things to sort out. First of all, we have all the components that are basically new into the market. We have a lot to learn, and I think that's why it's so important to go through this journey and really get out to the market quick to actually start learning how to work with these components. I think that's the biggest advantage right now.
Yeah, because it's important to consider that the market, if you look at Europe, is a very differentiated market where you have countries as Norway and Netherlands that are truly in the lead, in the forefront, and you have other markets that are not significantly moving at all. And this is a balancing act. So it's important to kind of capture the learnings, but also be present at those markets that are really ahead, at the same time try to move the markets that are following, so to say. So that brings a lot of challenge. But I think this project could address these forefront markets in a good way.
So we know there are many benefits to electrification, but we promised at the start of this program that we would deal with looking at some of the myths, the misconceptions. So let's go through a few different elements. For example, on performance, people will say that electrification can't provide the same level of performance as internal combustion engine powered vehicles. What's your response to that?
That's definitely a myth, but it's a misconception I very often meet out at sites, out at customers and operators, that they perceive before they've tried electric machines, they have this, they think it's maybe like toys or they cannot do the work properly, but that's completely wrong. I mean, in Volvo we always design the equipment to be at least as strong or capable as the diesel equivalent machine, so to say.
And I could just say that, I mean, taking this machine as an example, the L120, we have replaced the diesel engine with an electric motor, and that electric motor has a same peak power output as a diesel engine, but within a much wider range. So it actually is not on, it actually feels stronger to operate, and that's the feedback we get. And that's a nice thing to have a machine out in the field. We can actually see and hear the feedback from the operator that it does feel stronger than a conventional machine.
Sorry, out on the work site, Erik, these machines are working very hard and very long hours. So let's move on to recharging. What are the myths and the misconceptions there? You know, the consumer vehicle market, people have this phrase, range anxiety. Does that exist in the construction industry as well?
Of course it does. I mean, the people have the same anxiety, but for sure, there are a lot of equipment out there in the market to be able to charge your machines. They're out there on the work sites. And with high power DC charging, it actually enables to do more opportunity charging during lunch breaks, during shorter breaks. So you actually get a lot of autonomy out of machine out there.
Technically, we can solve it, so to say, but for sure I would say it's maybe one out of the two most challenging or the biggest challenges we have in the industry now, and that is how to be able to provide maybe not the energy, but the power in most cases is the limiting factor, actually.
Interesting. And obviously, the innovation is so fast. I suspect that all organizations involved are looking constantly at ways to relentlessly improve the results, both in terms of power, but also in terms of charge and hours of usage, I imagine, Erik.
Yes. And it's very quick development, and that our industry is not so used to that either, right? I mean, in normal cases, we have bigger step changes maybe every 10 years or so, but I think we must get used to and be prepared to have major updates or changes maybe every second, every third year. You will take big steps in improving this technology.
All right, still on the subject of myths and misconceptions, what about safety? A lot of people have written about combustibility of these lithium power sources. Why don't you bring us up to date? Where are we on safety in terms of electrification versus traditional?
Well, there's maybe different risk parameters, I would say. Of course, if something goes really bad, it's very serious because it's difficult to put out a battery fire. But on the other hand, the risk that it will happen is less. And you should also remember that in many cases, the reason for a fire incident in construction equipment is actually the material that the machines are working with, like dust of different types that comes to the hot surfaces of the turbo, for example, in the diesel motor. And these risks are completely gone, right? Because you don't have any hot surfaces anymore. So it's pros and cons there as well, but absolutely manageable as we see it. And many customers even approve battery electric machines in mines and tunnels nowadays. So, and they have done thorough risk analysis, I can assure you.
And there is, I mean, as you say, the temperature of the machine is significantly lower, so which reduces the risk of fire. But also the diagnostic system on a battery, on each battery cell, is at such a high level. So whenever there could be a failure, it will be detected and the machine will be put in a safe state. So we have we keep more track of what's going on inside the batteries than we do in an equivalent diesel powered machine.
But then, of course, you have other risks as well that are new to the industry, like the high voltage levels in the machines that requires training and some tools and some other competence that compared to what we are used to. So, but it's maybe not an increased risk. It's just a new competence area that we need to learn, so to say.
And also there, on the machines themselves and in the battery systems, there is always diagnostic that will be able to see if there is something wrong or if something is about to go wrong, so we can put the machines in a safe state if that's the case.
You have a lot more information about the machine you're working with than the traditional. Very interesting. What about the belief that electrification, which of course in its infancy was all about finding a way to reduce emissions, but looking at the mining for the materials, for the batteries, for all the components for the vehicles, some people say that actually creates even more carbon emissions. So where are we on the truth behind that?
That is really a myth, I would say. When we do life cycle assessments, and that is when you calculate the environment impact from the mine or the oil well, if it's a diesel machine, all the way to when you recycle the machine, there's a huge benefit of the electric products. Even if the environmental impact of production of the batteries, of course, is higher, you gain it back very, very quick. And that is due to one part is that the battery machine weight ratio is, if you compare to a car, there is less percentage of batteries in a construction equipment than a car. And then the other significant difference is the utilization. Construction equipment is producing day and night out, so there are many hours to it. So the CO2 payback time, so to say, is you calculate it in months and not in years. So it's definitely a myth.
And I can concur as well regarding this when it comes to the other mobile markets as well, in material handling, mining. It's the same thing there. Most of the CO2 emissions of a machine's life cycle is generated in use, when the machine is used, and not in the manufacturing.
So you take, an L120 is typically consuming a diesel version 10, 12 liters per hour. So if you add up the hours and the years, you imagine it's an enormous amount of CO2 you can save.
Very interesting. It's fascinating how a certain narrative can take hold, but when you actually look at the numbers, you look at the facts, and you look at the reality, it's a completely different story. So the case for electrification of construction vehicles obviously is compelling. So where do we go from here to help transition the industry quicker and easier? Challenges still remain. What advice do you both have?
I think we are at the level now where we start to prove that this is really possible. We will bring, the technology is here. Not so many products yet, but quite a few are here. There will come a lot more. So the solution is available, so to say. Now the challenge is this scaling it and really deploy it at scale. I think SINTEF is a Norwegian research institute. They put it in a good way. They say that it's not longer a technical readiness challenge, it's an organizational readiness challenge. We all need to learn how to work with this technology, how to deploy it, how to plan for it, how to use it at the sites, etc. And it goes across. It's for Parker, it's for Volvo, it's our retail partners, it's the contractors, it's anyone ordering this kind of construction projects, is the whole value chain that needs to scale this now.
And I think in order to really apply this quickly into the market really demands this kind of solution. I think it's very important for us as a supplier of components and systems, and also Volvo as a supplier of machines, and also the people who buy the machines, to really team up and make these solutions happening.
But, when you talk about changing factory production, that involves a lot of retrofitting. What does that look like?
Well, we are heavily investing in our value chain, so to say, when it comes to batteries production and changing the factories, etc., and work with our partners, suppliers, etc., to do this transformation. But it's as important to work upstream the value chain as well, that create awareness that these solutions are here, that we are prepared to scale it since we are industrializing these solutions, and all learn together, so to say. It's not only Volvo cannot not make this happen, or Parker cannot make this happen. We have to work. It's the whole ecosystem that needs to change.
It is a journey.
Yes. And I think we all, as Fredrik said, we definitely need to be part of it, the whole, and form these kind of partnership to be able to respond as fast as the market requires.
Well, it's been fascinating hearing how these myths and misconceptions are not always what they appear to be, which I greatly appreciate. So why don't we end our conversation with a look to the future from each of your own individual perspectives. So from the perspective of Volvo CE, Fredrik, how do you see the future?
I think it's a challenging future, but also very exciting times. I mean, the coming decade, we will see a transformation speed of our industry that is unprecedented, I think. So I'm very happy to be part of that and look forward to that. But it's a time, the years to come is a lot about scalability and deployment, I think.
Yeah, and I can only agree. It's a very exciting part, something that's very exciting to be part of, to move into this future for sure in electrification. But I think, as you said, Fredrik, it's going to be a lot of challenges, but to build on the good solutions that we have, take them into a wider spectrum of machines, try to replicate what we have done already. And I think not only looking at the new machines that we're building, but also see how we can convert the current machine fleets into fully electric is going to be an exciting challenge that we will face.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the ever-changing world of mobile electrification. Thank you both, Erik Forsberg and Fredrik Tjernström, for busting those myths and misconceptions. It is much appreciated. And thank you for watching this latest edition, and we look forward to welcoming you again very soon.